Use code Proxidist for 20% off any tub at G Fuel. Each purchase brings us one step closer to getting a Proxidist radioactive waste flavor. I don't know what it would be called. Gaming backlogs are a thing that everybody has. I mean, I already know why you're here. You know, you want to see what games I've finished in my backlog. My backlog's huge. This is literally just like an infinite content glitch for me. What was that? So yeah, I'm not going to waste anyone's time here. I'm going to go straight on to the first game that I finished. I say finished, I actually dropped it pretty quick, and that's because it is Redfall. You already know why I dropped Redfall. I mean, everybody knows why I dropped Redfall. This game just isn't good. It is dog shit. It was the biggest talking point of being one of the worst games in 2023, and deserved. Genuinely deserved. This game is awful. You can tell the developers hated making this game. There is zero passion or care put into this product, and that makes a lot of sense because Arcane Austin made this game. You know, the guys who made Prey 2017, one of the best games ever made. They were forced to make a open world looter shooter game that was originally supposed to be a live service game from what I heard. So obviously they didn't want to make it, and supposedly most of the studio quit during the development of this, which makes a lot of sense. But it is quite sad because there are some remnants of Arcane in this game, like the art style, for example. It's got that painting art style. It does look really nice at times, but at other times it looks like complete dog shit. I don't really know what to say about this game, honestly. It makes me really sad. They were forced to make this dog shit, and then it obviously underperformed because it's a stupid idea for a game that wasn't going to do well anyway, and as punishment, the entire studio was shut down. So that's awesome. We're never going to get a Prey 2. Both of the Prey 2s now lost the time. They're never going to see the light of day. And yeah, Redfall is complete and utter shit, and just wanted to get this one out of the way because I hated almost every second playing it, and I think I played it for about 4 hours before I dropped it. But yeah, I hated it. The next game I finished was Among Ashes. Now, I was originally going to cover this game like in October in a Halloween video I made for the main channel, which you should definitely go check out. I think it is a pretty underrated video. It didn't do too well, but I'm still proud of it. And I wanted to include Among Ashes in that list because it is one of the most unique indie horror games I've ever played. And I had to play it with one headphone off because it genuinely scared me. It freaked me out. So basically, Among Ashes is you're a guy on a computer and you and your friend have found this game and you play through it at the same time, messaging each other in real time on an old Windows XP chat board, and you like tell each other tips and tricks, and if a puzzle's glitched in the game because it's unfinished, the guy tells you the solution to it. It's very fourth wall breaking, but the game's haunted. I mean, obviously the game's haunted. It's a horror game. You already know that. And there's a lot of things where you're going through the game and then you hear things in the background and you can physically exit the game and walk around your apartment, and there is a lot of subtle horror in this game, and I love subtle horror. If you don't know what subtle horror is, it's like horror that isn't in your face horror. It's stuff you see out of the corner of your eye, and that shit freaks me out. That is the best type of horror. It also respects the player, and that fear of the unknown shit, you know, you're like, oh, did I just see something? Like, what was that? And there are many moments where there would be something happening in the real world in the game where I didn't want to leave it. I didn't want to exit the game. I was too scared to. I was so scared something was gonna happen. And yeah, it's a lot of back and forth. Shit gets really freaky the further in you get, and I'm not gonna spoil any of it. The only flaw that I have is I didn't want to leave my seat while playing it because I was scared it was going to do a huge fourth wall break where I was going to turn around in my office and there was going to be some creepy ghost girl there, because the game within the game was haunted and it started haunting me. Also, there was this one 2D side-scrolling bit within the game where you play a game within the game that was kind of frustrating to go through, but that might have just been a skill issue on my part because I'm not very good at 2D side-scrollers, so I died quite a lot during it and it was pretty frustrating to deal with. But But yeah, Among Ashes, a really good time. I'm glad I finished it, and I highly recommend playing it. The next game I want to talk about is Persona 3 Reload. Now, in my old Backlog series on the main channel, you may remember that I got hooked on Persona 5. I played the shit out of that game in December. I beat the entire thing in a month. It took me like 75 hours. I loved almost every second of it, and that was including the royal content. Persona 3 Reload, I think, has better characters, better ambience, better music, just a better aesthetic as a whole, but I can't bring myself to play it. I know exactly what it is. It's Tartarus. Tartarus just puts me off. The finely crafted palaces of Persona 5 carried that game for me. I wanted to see what palace would be next, and arguably none of them are as good as the first palace in the beginning, you know, the castle, but just wondering what it was going to be and what things are going to happen in it, with the events happening in the real world outside of it, because obviously time passes and that shit. It was awesome to see. But Tartarus it is just your bog standard like JRPG dungeon where you just keep going up more and more floors and enemies gradually get harder, and it's randomly generated, so it's got absolutely nothing of substance to it. It's just boring. And I know for a fact there's like, I don't even know how many floors, there's like 500 floors or some shit, and then the DLC is just even more of Tartarus, and just knowing that, I'm like, life's too short. I love everything about Persona 3, I just don't love playing it, and I feel really bad about that, but I got too many games to play. I put 12 hours into it, and I've decided to drop it, because I can't bring myself to play it, unfortunately. I might pick it up again in the future, but I kind of want to move on to like Metaphor or Shin Megami Tensei 5, because they're both sitting in my backlog right now, and they just look more enjoyable in terms of like gameplay stuff, you know? So yeah, I dropped Persona 3. I'm very sorry, Persona 3 fans, but Tartarus is just too boring for me.
A game I finished recently from my backlog was Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and I honestly enjoyed every second of this game. I came off the back of being burnt out on Metroidvania games from Silksong last year, mainly because I played that game way too damn much. Then at the start of this year, I purchased an OLED monitor, and I was thinking of games that would probably look great on one, and I immediately thought of this game. And boy, was I fucking right. It's a gorgeous game. I mean, irrelevant of what monitor you're playing it on, really. It's just a beautiful game in general, to be honest. A big thing for me with these games is the music, because sometimes the gameplay can get a bit samey between all the like different Metroidvanias, and it absolutely doesn't disappoint in this regard. My favourite track was this one that plays in this area called the Luma Pools, and it's like a really light-hearted but sort of emotional track at the same time, and it fits the like backdrop and environmental design of that area. It's really cool. Gameplay wise, this is so much better than the first one. Like, I can't stress that enough. I feel like what can make or break these games is movement. And much like Silksong improved upon the first Hollow Knight, this Ori game does the same. There are so many grapple, dash, bash and jump options in this one that it never feels sluggish, and that goes for air movement, ground and surprisingly even water, which in most games you would expect to be an absolute slog, but in this one it's really, really fun. And lastly, don't get me started on the story. No spoilers, of course, but I was a fucking crybaby playing this game. Like, I'm surprised I could see my shiny new OLED monitor, because I felt like I was in an underwater level myself.
Wow, thank you, Joe. Very cool. Now, the next game I want to talk about is Gears of War. Now, I started the Gears series with Gears 5, and a lot of people don't like that one. I had nothing to compare it to at the time, so I kind of enjoyed it. I thought it was a good game. Campaign, that is. I can't speak on the multiplayer. But now that Gears of War 1 is on Steam, I can kind of see where you guys are coming from with saying Gears 5 isn't as good. Gears of War is one of the grittiest war games I've played, and it's kind of depressing as well, because it really feels like you're just constantly fighting a losing battle against this alien weird species called the Locust. I mean, you already know what Gears of War is, I don't need to explain it, but they have so many of these like super powered like abomination creatures, like the scary blind one that I forgot the name of, and those ones that they ride, the fucking giant spider ones. They have so much at their disposal. It is completely understandable why it feels like the humans are losing. And yeah, the gameplay is your bog standard third-person shooter, you know, the one that Gears of War kind of started the trend of, you know, that everyone started hating. But Gears of War feels like an exception because it's built for it. Being in cover isn't just like a boring crutch to like regenerate your health. It feels like you need to be in cover and strategically maneuver around the battlefield to take on the Locust, and I really enjoy that. I also really like the manual reloading where you're rewarded for timing it. You know, you gotta be focused constantly during every single battle, and I really like it. I played through the entire thing with my friend. It was a good time. I'm excited for Gears of War 2 to come to PC. There we go. There's a few games that I beat from my backlog. Now it's your turn. Let me know in the comments what games you finished recently. Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? Did you end up dropping it? Or are you progressing through something currently that you just want to talk about? I'd love to know. You know, it's really fun talking about backlog games. One game that you shouldn't have in your backlog and you should have finished is The Evil Within. Why is that in your backlog? I know I've bought The Evil Within for like 20 of you. Get that shit played. Even if you don't like it, I do not care. Play The Evil Within. Now, it's time to thank my Patreon supporters, the people that make this channel possible. That being Nintendo Pro, Profit, Ryan IDC, Pitstab, Bouncer Storm Productions, and Daniel Levchenko. And of course, we can't forget the channel members. Marcus Platts, who is a new channel member, welcome. Joshua Whitford 5509, another new channel member, thank you so much. Evan Underhill 2342, Bidoo for Doom, Gabriel Padro 5589, Scary 1407, Eteria Sigma. I can't believe you added Sigma to the end of your name just so I had to say it every time. Eggy 613, Wentel 77, Riff King 66, Dizrays 3250, Sobitax, Liam Talks About, Andreas Stewart 8871, Ethank 78, Galaxy 11243, Glusky 36. I don't know if you changed your name. Did you change your name? Floaty38, Wolfborn TV, Rust on Wood, Lhaze117, also known as some bowling guy rambling into the void, Griefgar, and Resistance Lion. Thank you guys so much for supporting me. I really appreciate it, and I will see you all in the next video.